Hey, what's up guys? Jose here, shredded.com. In today's video, I'm reviewing the Freak Athlete Nordic Hyper GHD. This machine is supposed to replace a Nordic bench, decline sit-up bench, lower back extension machine, GHD, reverse hyper, and a hip thrust bench. So a lot to cover there, so let's get right into it. So I'll get the specs out of the way first. This thing weighs 105 pounds, has a 500-pound weight capacity, and can be used by anyone between the heights of 5 feet tall all the way up to 7 feet tall. So it's going to cover the vast majority of the population. Now, as far as dimensions go, this thing is 56 inches long by 23 inches wide when it's flat. And then when I stand it up vertically, it's 23 inches by 23 inches. So very smart thing to do by Freak Athlete right away is that they made the space saving, which is great. In a home gym, we need all the space we can use. So by this standing up vertically, it's going to take up minimal space, can be sent into a corner and out of the way. Here's the flat Nordic bench setup. I'm going to show you different parts up close and then I'll show you how to use it. So if I take you under the hood here, you can see there's different colored knobs. These knobs allow me to make adjustments such as different angle changes or height adjustments. And this is good that they did that because they used to be all red. So this update makes it easier to learn the machine. Now, if you look at this knob here, this knob unlocks the front of the machine from the frame, so I can lift it up and then make any adjustments here in the middle. And then if we go to the back here, that red knob is going to allow me to unlock the rear portion of the machine from the frame. Now here's the foot plate. The foot plate has the Freak Athlete branding, laser cut. I like that they did that. And then we have a handle on the top, handle on the sides, and then a weight horn. Now the weight horn is there for two different reasons. Number one, for me to stand up the machine vertically, that's going to sit on the weight horn, and also for explosive Nordic curls. If I want to do explosive Nordic curls, I can counterbalance the weight on the weight horn there. Now here are the leg rollers. The leg rollers they're very comfortable, about 2 inches in thickness. We've got the top one there that's actually detachable and adjustable. If you look right there, they have a knob with 7 different adjustments, and then the bottom rollers. Now I like that they did a top and bottom roller portion because there's Nordic curl benches that only have the top portion. So this makes it feel more secure so I can create more stability whenever I'm doing Nordic curls. And then we have the knee pad here. The knee pad is very wide, very nice and thick, 2 inches in thickness. It has a different gripping material on the upholstery, different than this. You can see this is shiny, glossy. This one is more matte colored and a little bit more grippy. And here is the GHD pad, so I can use that for GHDs and also glute ham raises. One of my favorite features about this bench is having the ability to do Nordic curl regressions, and I like that for 2 reasons. Number one, it allows anybody, regardless of strength level, to start training Nordic curls the right way through full range of motion. There's benches out there that go through partial ranges of motion, so it doesn't train the hamstring right, in my opinion. Now, I feel that training through full range of motion and then incrementally going down to a flatter position, it's going to allow you to progressively train your hamstrings, allowing them to get stronger over time without getting injured. Because it's happened to me, I got injured doing a flat Nordic curl, and it only set me back. So that's very important to me. And number two, having the ability to regress and measure those regressions allows you to track your progress so you know exactly what you're doing. There's no guesswork. You start at 45 degrees, go down 5 degrees, and keep going 5 down degree increments until you get to a flat bench position. So now I'm going to walk you through the different regressions here. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you unlock the bench from the frame. As it is, if I pull up, it's going to bring up the bench and the frame. So in order to do that, I go to the gray knob, pull on it. That sets me at 20 degrees. Now I can go all the way up to 45 degrees here. Pull on the green knob, and then it locks in place at 45 degrees. Now, one thing you want to make sure you do before you start doing your Nordic curls is you want to make sure you turn the knob all the way to the right until it's tight, and that way that's going to eliminate any play on the bench itself. Now, one thing I really like that they did on here is they engraved all these different angles here. So this goes from 45 all the way down to 20 degrees. So you have 6 increments here on this top setting with the green knob. And I really like that because that's better than using stickers. Stickers would fall off over time and then you'd be guessing the angle at where you're at. So this makes it easier, so it's permanent on there. You don't have to guess anything. The angles are there for you. Now, if I wanted to go down on angles, I turn the knob to the left, pull it, and then I can go down a little bit more. Now this only goes up to 20 degrees here with this knob, with the green knob. Now if I wanted to go lower to 15, 10, and 5 degrees, then I would come over here to this side where they have this piece of gray metal that's magnetically attached to the frame. I'd pull on it, and now I can set this to 15 degrees, 10 degrees, and 5 degrees on the bench. So I'm going to show you that. So the first thing I have to do is I have to go past 20 degrees here on the green knob, Once I get past 20 degrees, I can set the bench to 15 right there. Lift the bench up a little bit, 10 degrees, 5, and then 0 would be the flat bench. So I'm gonna lift this up, attach that back there, and then I'll set it to 0. So those are all the different regressions on the bench. 9 in total, and then you have your flat bench. I also have the option to use the GHD pad here for glute ham raises. So I'm gonna take this off the bench. So this has flaps on the sides that have Velcro strips on them. If I wanted to attach them to the knee pad has Velcro strips on the bottom here. The hip pad here has the strips on the side. So let's stick this to the knee pad here. So I'm gonna set this down, pull down on the flaps, stick it down really well. And this is actually very strong Velcro. So if I pull on it, it's not going anywhere. It's actually just moving the bench. So you can see the Velcro is really strong on there. You can actually do decline Nordic curls with this machine as well. So you can do progressions. Now I'm not gonna try that. I don't feel like ripping a hamstring today, but if you're strong enough, you can actually go into decline mode, and now that's some different out of this world level Nordic curls. Now, I can certainly do decline sit-ups from this setting, but I like to raise the bench up a little bit higher so that I can do some leg raises as well. So I'm gonna go to the front of the bench here and unlock it from the front. That's locked in place there. And now I'm gonna come over here to the blue knob. So this allows me to incline it forward up to that height there. And again, I wanna make sure I turn this all the way so that there's no play. Same with the green here. And now I can get on here, throw my legs in between the rollers, hang on to the handle if I need to, and do my decline sit-ups. Then I can turn around, come back here, grab the handles here on the sides, and do my leg raises there as well. So that's the decline setting. I like that they have the handles here. That makes it a lot easier to get in and out of the sit-ups, and then it also allows me to hang on to something while I'm doing the decline leg raises. Now, something new that I like that Freak Athlete added is the adjustable hip pad here. So I can move this in closer. Let's say if I'm doing sit-ups and I don't want my tailbone to fit into the gap there, that gives me a little bit of padding on the tailbone. If I'm doing something like a back extension, then I can open this up and now I have space there so I don't crush my jewels. Now I'm gonna convert the decline sit-up bench into a 90-degree back extension, so I have to lift the front here. So I'm gonna pull on the green knob, set it to the flat position there, and then I'm gonna take you under the hood here, and we see that there's a yellow knob there. That's a tension knob that allows me to remove the knee pad. And the reason I remove the knee pad is because that allows me to move the hip pad area back and forth this way so I can accommodate for my height. Now remember, this is so versatile that it fits people from 5 feet all the way up to 7 feet tall. So that's a great thing that Freak Athlete was able to do that so that more people can use the machine. So now that I took out the knee pad, this whole area is exposed, and now I can make changes to the length of the back extension setup. So in order to do that, I need to pull on the red knob, and that releases this frame. And this frame, by the way, has 12 different settings on here. The numbers are engraved just like the numbers down here, which makes it look very nice. So now I'm gonna adjust this. So I need to pull this, and then there's a handle here, which lets me move it back and forth, 12 different settings. So I'm gonna set it to what works for me, and then I want to make sure I tighten this all the way until it's nice and snug. And remember, you got to get the blue knob and the green knob tight as well. So now it's ready for the 90-degree back extensions. Now, if you're a little bit on the shorter side, there's some steps here you can pull out. They're knurled, so they look very nice. And now I'm ready to step on this. So I have handles here on the front, and right here, this is where the crotch gap comes in handy for us guys. It makes it comfortable for you to lie down on there without crushing the jewels. So now I'm here going into my 90-degree back extensions, and these feel really good. Freak Athlete did add resistance band loops to the frame. There's 2 in the front here and 1 right below me here. And this gives you an option to use resistance bands while doing back extensions or reverse hypers. I personally don't use them very much. I just don't like the setup. I would rather just grab a dumbbell, weight plate, or medicine ball and do my back extensions with constant tension. But if you do like them, there's that option. So I'm gonna show you here. So first thing you wanna do is you wanna loop it around the loop there on the frame, and then you want to wrap it around your body. Now, of course, you have to play around with a resistance band that's going to give you enough tension here. So once you get to the bottom, you're going to do your back extension, and again, this resistance band here is too long for me, and that's one of the reasons I don't like this very much, just because I have to figure out which band is going to work for me. So I would rather just get constant weight and do my back extensions, but I do like that they included that for people that do like resistance bands. So that was the 90-degree back extension. Now I'm going to turn this into a 45-degree back extension. I pull the blue knob all the way until it sets to 45 degrees, and now you have your 45-degree back extension. And again, this just adds more versatility to the machine. You can go from 90 to 45, just whatever feels right for you when you're working your lower back area, your glutes. You have two options there. So now I'm gonna set this up for the GHD Reverse Hyper. The only difference between this and the 90-degree back extension is that I'm using the GHD pad. So for that, I'm gonna set it on the hip pad here, get the flaps down on the Velcro, press it down real nicely, and then I'm gonna get up on the machine and I'm ready to go. From here, I just do my GHD sit-ups. Feels very stable. Now, if you are heavier and you do explosive GHD sit-ups, you do have the option down there. There's some weight horns down there that you can add some weight plates to add more stability to the machine. But otherwise, this feels really good. From this setup, I can go right into a reverse hyper. Of course, this is not gonna be like a pendulum reverse hyper because there's no room here for a pendulum. So it's just a body weight, or you can use resistance bands. Now, if you're a guy, you gotta make sure that you have the GHD pad set up with the crotch opening right on this side. So to set this up here, I set my hips here on the top of the pad, and then I have the handles here on the foot plate, and I do my reverse hypers. And again, this is gonna be body weight. If you wanna use the resistance bands, you can use the loops down here. I personally don't like to use those loops down there. If I wanna add resistance to it, I do it a little bit different, where I use ankle straps or ankle cuffs, and I hook up a resistance band to this area here around the footstep, and I feel that gives me a better resistance from the bottom all the way to the top of the reverse hyper. But that's your reverse hyper setup. I think it's a great idea to have this included into the back extension, just because it gives you another exercise to do for the low back. Even though it's not a pendulum, you can still pump out a bunch of reps on this, and you can still get the benefits from that. And the final setup is gonna be the hip thrust machine. So for that, we're gonna use the top roller here. I'm gonna pull it out. It removes completely, and then we're gonna take it over to the front of the machine. So now I'm gonna walk you through the setup for the hip thrust machine. It's a real simple setup. We have to unlock this first. In order to do that, I pull this gray pin out. That lets me set it into a vertical position. I reinsert the pin. And now in order to reduce the play here, I have to turn the red knob here. So once I get it to where it's tight, there's not gonna be any play there. And now I can insert the roller at the top here. Now keep in mind, this has 7 different height adjustments for people of different sizes. So I insert it in there, set it to the right height for me, and then I turn the knob here to make sure it's tightly on there, and I'm ready to go. Now this does have a little bit of play, it's not bad. Now if you do heavy hip thrusts, you wanna make sure you load up the weight horns on each side here. That will give you more stability. Now aside from hip thrusts, you can also use this for Bulgarian split squats. So you have another exercise that the machine gives you. Okay, so let's talk pros and cons. I'll give you my cons. For me, the resistance band loops don't offer much, just because I don't wanna have to figure out what resistance band is gonna give me the right amount of tension at the bottom of the exercises. I would rather just grab a dumbbell, grab a weight plate or a medicine ball and use that instead. So for me, that would be a con. Another con would be the Velcro here, the Velcro on the GHD pad. Depending on how much you use the GHD pad, the Velcro eventually will wear off over time, just like any Velcro piece of equipment. And for that reason, this may have to be replaced. Now, the final con for me would be that if you're somebody that's used to doing a pendulum-based reverse hyper, then this won't be the machine for you, just because you're not gonna have the ability to load any weight plates on here. This is more of a body weight and resistance band reverse hyper machine. So now I'll go over the pros. Number one pro for me is gonna be the versatility this machine offers. When I look for a piece of equipment, I'm looking for something that I can use for more than one thing, especially in a home gym setting where we have to have a lot of versatility, we have to get creative, and this offers that. Not only that, but this is space saving, and that's very, very important in a home gym. You get space saving and versatility in one piece of equipment. Remember, this replaces 6 machines into a vertical space that's very small. I can shove this into a corner and out of the way, which would be impossible if I had 6 individual machines in a home gym environment. Now, another pro for me would be that the build quality is very good. It has a combination of 8 gauge, 11 gauge, and 14 gauge steel. Now, as far as the build on the knee pad and the GHD pad, I think the upholstery could be improved upon, but for home gym use, I think it's enough. This has a weight capacity of 500 pounds, so for a home gym setting, it's gonna be very good. Another pro for me is the price of the machine. This is well under $1,000, and you get 6 machines in one. So for the amount of functionality, the amount of versatility that you get, the price is very good for it. If you were to buy 6 individual machines that this replaces, you would be paying well over $1,500 for those machines. So for something that doesn't take up a lot of space, yet you have a lot of functionality, I think the price is right. And the final pro for me is that this offers a lot of stability. You saw me doing the GHDs. You can do explosive reverse hypers, you can do explosive Nordic curls, and this has very good stability. If for any reason you're a heavier person and very explosive and this starts to move a little bit, you can add weight plates on the weight horns here for added stability. So for the most part, I think this is very stable. Just make sure that the knobs are fully turned to the right, fully tight, and that when you assemble the machine, make sure all the different bolts are also assembled tightly. So there you have it, guys. That's my review on the Freak Athlete Nordic Hyper GHD. It does live up to the hype. Minor things that I don't like about it, but overall I think the pros outweigh the cons. If you want to learn more about it, I'll leave a link below this video. That link is shreddeddad.com/Nordic Hyper. Use coupon code SHREDDED for a discount. If you like the information in this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments and questions down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the latest uploads. For more home gym equipment reviews and discounts, make sure you visit my website, shreddeddad.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.